Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Suzanne Harper and my channel is about life at age 70, and one of the topics that I cover on my channel are current events. And we've had a lot of politically motivated current events in the news lately, so I will be touching on a few of those stories. But before we move ahead to that, I do want to say something to my audience. My last video was pretty politically oriented, and for some reason I seem to inspire a bit of displeasure in a segment of my audience, and my aim is not to do that. I am not a news source. My videos are for entertainment purposes only, and it's all in fun. As a matter of fact, I do take equal jabs at both sides of the aisle. I'm equally as critical of the Democrats as I am of the GOP. So I'm sorry that, some of you misunderstood where I was coming from, but as a gesture of goodwill, I've done some research and I have found an item that this segment of my audience might be interested in, and here it is. And this is called the Donald J. Trump Cultist Identifier Lapel Pin. Okay, that's not the official name of it, that's the name I gave to it. But I'm presenting this to you as a gesture of goodwill. This is, if you will, this is me presenting a peace offering, an olive branch, so to speak. Now, just to let you know that my intentions are pure, if you go to Donald J. Trump's website, he probably is selling this item, at a fair price. What would that be? Probably, $150. But I, because I'm such a savvy shopper, have found the same item on Amazon for $6.99. Yeah. So there you are. Order now and thank me later. And just an FYI, I'm not an affiliate, so I won't be getting any kickback for it. Again, this was nothing but a gesture of goodwill to anyone in my audience that may have been offended. The Donald J. Trump Cultist Identifier Lapel Pin. Get yours today. And you know what? Just take off your American flag lapel pin and put that on in place of it. Perfect look. So anyhow, if you're unhappy with any of my commentary, I might advise you to seek out somebody like Charlie Kirk, go watch his podcast, or somebody more in line with your political ideology, somebody that'll parrot to you the ideas that you want to hear, okay? You probably won't find that here. And realistically, people that come to my channel just to have, for fun. There's nothing serious about this. I will say that if you are inclined to leave a nasty comment, you're pretty much going to be wasting your time. What I recommend you do is seek out a bigger fish in a bigger pond. Go to Midas Touch, go to David Pakman, go to Steve Schmidt, leave your nasty comments on their channels, not on mine. They are the big fish in the big pond. I'm the little fish in the small pond. I'm Granny doing a YouTube channel in my retirement, and I'm just doing it for fun. So again, everything I talk about is for entertainment purposes only. So let's jump right in. How about that stock market?
An encouraging inflation report this morning couldn't lift stock markets at the open. The Dow and S&P 500 falling 2% in the first hour of trading despite President Trump's tariff retreat. Yesterday, the president announced a 90-day pause on his stiff new tariffs on U.S. trading partners. The U-turn sending stocks soaring after days of steep losses. The president acknowledged the market turmoil was a factor in the pause.
Over the last few days, it looked pretty glum. You have to be able to show a little flexibility, and I'm able to do
Okay, so I'm sure you're familiar with market manipulation, insider trading, which these are, federal offenses. In a normal world, these are federal offenses. Stock market manipulation, well, what does that mean exactly? Well, maybe you have some inside knowledge of when to buy and sell stocks. In other words, you know that possibly the market's going to crash, so you're going to sell off all your stock and rebuy it again at a much lower price. And then when the market goes up, which it seems like this is the intent in market manipulation, you're going to make a killing. It's going to be a feeding frenzy, okay? And it appears that, I'm not making any accusations, but it appears that like that's what's happened this week with all this tariff manipulation. Tariff manipulation equals stock market manipulation because it creates such an unstable economy, such an unstable environment, not knowing from one day to the next, are the tariffs on or the tariffs off? Is the wedding on? One day the wedding's on, the next day the wedding's off. The next day the wedding's on, the next day the wedding's off. Well, look, do we buy you a gift or don't we? All joking aside, though, in a situation like that, when it comes to the stock market, well, first let me give you a disclaimer. I'm not in the market, okay? My rule of thumb, I'm retired now, and any stock trading that I did in my younger years when I still had time to recuperate any losses that I may have taken. When you're retired, in my opinion, probably not the best time of your life to be trading stocks unless you really have some winners in your portfolio. And I don't know what's in your portfolio, and I'm not a stock expert, but I'm just mentioning what I do or don't do. So who benefits from a situation like what happened this week? Not the middle class, not the 99%, the 1%. I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene did extensive stock trading the past few days. Wonder how she knew when to buy and when to sell. Insider trading, isn't that what they call that? Isn't that why Martha Stewart went to prison? Little Martha Stewart, the homemaker. Yeah. And, who's around to prosecute anybody committing these kinds of crimes now? Okay, so do you know who this guy is? This is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And looks like he's the one that talked Trump off the ledge about these tariffs. And it's fortunate for us that there was an adult in the room. And he's the one that talked Trump into pausing these tariffs for 90 days. I don't know what's going to happen after that. But the leverage he had was, if you go through with this, I'm going to quit. So what does that tell you? I don't think Mr. Trump knows much about the economy. Or maybe he would have stuck to his guns. But this guy right here, a little bit of a hero in my book, kind of saved the economy, kind of saved the world economy. Wow. Yeah, he's a former Wall Street guy, so looks like he knows what he's doing. Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary. And speaking of tariffs, as a senior citizen, this bothers me in particular that he's talking about, and when I refer to he, Mr. Trump, because he's not my president, I didn't vote for him, Mr. Trump is talking about tariffs on pharmaceuticals. And this is when we're already paying about 80% more on pharmaceuticals than any other country in the world. You know, if you put a tariff on a pharmaceutical, the cost will be handed back to the consumer. I don't know if he just doesn't get this. I mean, you know, Joe Biden already had insulin down to $35, okay? He made some progress there, and it's my understanding that on day one, this guy came in, signed an executive order against that. I don't know if it's true. If I'm not right, let me know I'm not right. I'm sure you will. But this is very concerning to me as a senior. And I think, you know, if you're going to mess with prescription drugs, Social Security, Medicare, you're going after the wrong people, okay? We are a good segment of the voting public, and we do vote. And people just better keep their hands off. Yeah. Sorry, it's water. You know, you have to make water look fun too. So anyhow, those are just a few of the things that happened this week. And, you know, blink an eye and something new will come up in the forever chaotic country that we are living in now. And one diversion after another. Keep your eye on the ball, folks. Keep your eye on the ball. So, thanks for stopping in today. My name is Suzanne Harper. I talk about life at age 70 and things that may affect you and what's going on in our world today. Again, for entertainment purposes only. I'll see you again in the next one. Mwah. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.